I'm a student of what some call Trump derangement syndrome. I'm a student of the concern many in the media and Democratic politics have about the violation of norms. I've seen the slightest thing Donald Trump does be blown up into like a federal offense, whatever that expression means. And then I see Neera Tanden today on Twitter. Uh, Neera Tanden, Neera Tanden worked in Clinton, Obama, Biden, top political person, ran the Center for American Progress. She's at the pinnacle of American democratic politics and government and policy. And Neera tweeted this today about the construction at the White House. I genuinely think the images of them destroying the East Wing of the White House could be a game changer in the elections. I just, I mean no disrespect to Neera. I do not understand this point of view. I heard a New York Times reporter on CNN or MSNBC yesterday, nearly in tears, about the construction at the White House. We're going to talk about this because I think it's a window, it's a prism, it's a device for understanding what the hell is going on in America today that people feel this way. I got to read you my tweet because my tweet, as so often happens, my tweet sums this up so brilliantly. Here's what I tweeted an hour ago. This is one of the most bewildering moments in the decade-long reaction of the resistance. They seem to look at the construction photos as if they show the wreckage of Trump purposely bombing an orphanage. That's how people are reacting to this. Now, again, there may be serious questions to be raised about what he said previously about the construction, the norms of what a president is allowed to do with or without the requisite approvals. From a historical point of view, people may say you shouldn't be knocking down the East Wing to build something new. I mean, I would not minimize any of these issues at all for anybody to raise. But the emotion for Neera Tanden, a very smart person, to say that this is going to impact the election, that either resistance voters will turn out in greater numbers because of a construction project, or that independent voters will. This is the last straw. Not claiming the election was stolen, not January 6th, not using the Justice Department to prosecute his political enemies. Here's Neera's tweet up on the screen for those of you watching and not listening on the podcast. I genuinely think the images of them destroying the East Wing of the White House could be a game changer in the elections. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I know something about the concept of the game change. I just can't identify with this. It's baffling. So I'm hoping some of you can explain it to me. And if there are people on here on the two-way platform who are so upset by this, Sue, one of our most reliable explainers in chief, she's very upset. I'm truly baffled by the reaction to the construction. So, Stephen, since you're a Democrat and it's your party that is treating this like the end of democracy as we know it, in all seriousness, why are people so emotional about a construction project?
Well, because every issue in America is fed through what I call a polarization vortex that's meant to maximize for fear and outrage. So that's the culture we live in. My message to Democrats and liberals all day has been, don't let this issue ruin your day. I know many liberals that's happened, and their blood pressure is rising, and I get that. This is not the issue. Now, it's not to deny that there are problems with this because it's going to be privately funded. And anytime you have private donations for a public related project, it often means there are opportunities for corruption and pay to play for access. And that's happening. So that's not to deny that. But this is not the issue to ruin your day over.
Right. Stephen, just staying with you, everything you said, I agree with 100%. But I could give you 100 examples. The Trump children and the Trumps getting rich off of NTFs and crypto. The president in having his political opponents indicted. These to me, if you said this is a game changer or this is so devastating, I could see people saying it about that.
Yeah.
And there's no doubt that you could take anything Trump does that the left doesn't like and say it goes through the process. But I'm a pretty sophisticated observer of the language and the emotion. people on the left are more emotional about this than they are about Don Jr. and Eric getting rich off of Access. I believe that because the language they're using. So what is it here? I'm just stipulate that I'm correct, that the level of emotion about this is sky high compared to things that to me on the face of it seem 1,000 times more outrageous. So try again. What is it about this that caused Neera Tanden to say it's a game changer? They're doing a construction project.
Yeah, so two things. One is I wouldn't use Neera Tanden as the barometer for
Okay,
dumb
but
nationwide.
it's not just Neera. It's not
Yeah,
just
yeah, understood, understood. I think that the other thing to potentially point to here is the demolishing of the East Room. I think there's this a sense of the White House is what it is, and it's like a metaphor for Trump destroying our country, that he's physically destroying part of the White House. I think that's some of the psychology at play here.
okay. I say with peace, love, and understanding. I understand conceptually, but Beverly, a metaphor. Why they get so upset about a metaphor? Get upset about the indictment of his political opponents. Get upset about making billions, hundreds of millions off their access. Why is a metaphor of a construction project so upsetting?
Just to reiterate on that, there are many things that President Trump has done in his term, his 2 terms, that have broken presidential norms. The
Yeah,
things that is surprising about this is it doesn't. Historically, go to Taft and Ford, and you can go to Nixon and Obama. They all made changes to the White House. So even I heard Joe Scarborough, MSNBC, hosts of The View, who were outraged about this. And I do think that those who do TV for a living and comment on news should delve into the history of it, because for people who don't have time or don't think about politics all day long like we do, I realize we're not normal that we do. They need to know that historical context. Also, the East Wing, you're talking about offices. Most of these offices are used by the First Lady. This is not touching the significant rooms of the White House. So
yeah,
even a little due diligence, and by the way, the fact that Donald Trump has been talking about building this ballroom for a long time, this isn't a surprise at all. But the reason why I think it's getting this reaction, it does go to what Stephen is saying. There is something about this where with one picture, you're able to tell a story, even if it's not true. It's
yeah,
the optics of that photo. And they
yeah.
say, as you were saying, Mark, it's a metaphor for him destroying democracy, destroying the people's house. And I don't think it sells. The majority of Americans are going to look at this and just roll their eyes once again. And to your point, Mark, there are plenty of presidential norms that he breaks. This is not one of them.
Yeah. Stephen, I think you just misspoke because I know you know, but just to clarify, it's not the East Room, it's the East Wing.
East
The
Wing.
the East Room, where people have seen many presidential events, that's not being destroyed. That's in the main residence building. Is that what that building's called? It's where the residence is, but I don't know what that building's
Yeah,
called.
it's called the residence.
The residence. Okay. This is to the east of that. This is the thing that's being taken down. The destroyed makes me crazy. Being taken down is between the residence where the east room is, the map room. What else is in that thing? That big hallway, whatever that's called.
The
Uh,
blue
the
room.
blue room, right? So that building is the residence. That's between the west wing and the east wing, and the east wing is between the residence and the treasury. Probably should have a map. Okay, here is the New York Times headline number 10. The New York Times is leading the way in saying that this is a metaphor and just what Mamdani would call a shanda. That's a joke. Number 10, please. New York Times headline. Got number 10? Maybe not. Here we go. Number 10. Trump is demolishing the entire East Wing to make room for his ballroom. Trump initially said the construction of the White House would not touch the East Wing or, quote, interfere with the current building. Well, it's not interfering with it, it's eliminating it. Now, he's gone back on his word and he's taken down an entire part of the White House. But again, as Beverly said, this is not usual and also not unusual. And also, again, these are not. There's nothing in the East Wing any of you have ever associated with the history of the building. I'm quite certain of that. Okay, now here's video. This is going to be number 12. This is the aftermath after President Trump bombed an orphanage on purpose. No, this is the the demolition of the East Wing, number 12. But it's this kind of imagery that's making people, is it 12 that I want? No, I want, 12. It's making people bonkers, and it's bonkers that they're bonkers. We got 12. Here we go. Okay. Oh my goodness. Look at that. This is democracy being destroyed by cranes. This is a metaphor, and I don't understand it. Yeah, they're taking down the East Wing, and he said they wouldn't, and now they are, and no real person could possibly care about this. And now I will say, part of what's driving this story is this is compelling. This is giant construction equipment on the grounds of the White House, and they're taking down a building that's part of the White House complex. I get why it's that helps drive it, but the breathlessness. Now, here's the president of the United States, who, spoiler alert, agrees with me about how nuts the reaction is. Here he is talking in the Oval Office today about, no surprise, the finest ballroom ever built by man or beast. Number 13, please.
Certain areas are being left. We determined that after really a tremendous amount of study with some of the best architects in the world, we determined that really knocking it down, trying to use a little section. You know, the East Wing was not much. There was not much left from the original. It was over the course of 100 years, it was changed. The columns were removed, and it was a much different building. Then a story was added on in 1948, 1949. There was a story added on, which was not particularly nice. And the building was very, very much changed from what it was originally. It was never thought of as being much. It was a very small building. And rather than allowing that to hurt a very expensive, beautiful building that, frankly, they've been after for years. You have that. I brought these along so people could see, but it's, there's a relative, nobody's actually seen anything quite like it. I think it'll be one of the great ballrooms anywhere in the world. It's about $300 million. It's set to do many, many things, including meetings of foreign leaders, including the honoring of foreign leaders. You can see this. This is a plan. If it's got tables so that you honor a foreign leader, we have a proper space. Right now, we have a space that with tables holds about 79 people. And this is a proper kind of a thing. Now, what the White House was doing, as you know, is they were putting tents out on the lawn. This is an interior shot of the ballroom. I think there'll be nothing like it. And it's being paid for 100% by me and some friends of mine, donors to it. The government's paying absolutely nothing.
Okay.
We're also working with
now, Stephen pointed out private funding is open to pay-to-play accusations, but of course, if it were tax dollars, there'd be different objections to it. But I'll say, almost certain that there'll be one of Jared and Ivanka's kids will have a bar bat mitzvah in that space. I'm almost certain of that.
Yeah.
Good space for a bar bat mitzvah. But separate from that, the president's point is, and you guys will remember, he proposed this to David Axelrod when Barack Obama was president. He said there should be a proper ballroom at the White House. At that point, he wasn't president, and even he didn't think he'd be president. He said, "I'll fund it. America needs a proper ballroom at the White House," and so he's long thought that this was something the United States should have, and now hopefully it'll be built and be great. But thank you both for trying to clear it up. I confess, no fault of yours, just my thick head. I still do not understand the reaction to this thing.
Mark, I think I just remembered, if my memory serves, I think the White House movie theater is in that East Wing portion. So maybe that's what people are upset about.
No, the movie theater's in. Is it? Oh, you know what? You might be right. You might be right. You might be right. Yeah. Okay, good point. And that's something people associate with the White House. But having been in the screening room, it's not some historic space.
By the way, I have a new slogan. Democracy dies in demolition.
There you go. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Word from one of our sponsors, the good folks at Cozy Earth, who make extraordinary clothes and bedding, the bamboo sheets. I got them. You should have them too. 10-year warranty, 100-day money-back guarantee, temperature regulating, give you a comfortable night's sleep. Everybody in our household's a little bit under the weather, and nothing more comforting than to climb into bed with the comfortable Cozy Earth sheets, viscose made from bamboo. And then over the sheets, you put the bubble cuddle blanket, which we also have here. Lose yourself in luxury with the bubble cuddle blanket. Offers a combination of comfort and style with its distinctively textured bubble design, intricately woven from ultra soft fibers. I can testify to all that. I didn't make up that language, but it's all true. You can also, of course, buy the shirts, very comfortable T-shirts. I wear them around the house all the time. And, of course, the pants. If you want your spouse to look at you and say, my goodness, you look spectacular in those pants, I recommend the Cozy Earth pants. Go to cozyearth.com. Use my promo code 2WAY for 20% off, because home isn't just where you live, it's how you feel. Let's go home with Cozy Earth.
They say that something that's easy is like a walk in the park. Well, easier than a walk in the park, hit the subscribe button, be part of the Two-Way community, never miss an episode, be part of our conversations. Thank you for your service to America.
And don't forget, you can now listen to the morning meeting and Two-Way Tonight on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.